Welcome back to Income Trading 101. Today is Wednesday, June the 23rd. We're going to take a look at Roku Inc., symbol ROKU. It's been popping these last few days, and I definitely wanted to take a look. There's some interesting levels that it's around, and I don't know, let's see about trading this bad boy. So let's see. I'm going to stretch this out. I just want to see how far back stock goes, make sure. Oh, well, that's an easy one. Looks like it IPO'd back in 2017. So this is pretty much the full string of what we get to analyze. I'm going to pull it all the way back so it's just about a year of analysis that we're going to do. Start off as usual with our moving averages. And while I set this up, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. I'm not, I like to create these videos. I love doing this and love sharing them. Appreciate all of you who subscribe and watch these as I create them, because it's a lot of fun for me. And you guys ask great questions as well. So let's get this going for sure. I like to use a 10-day, a 20, and a 60-day to start off. I'm going to use these same ranges, but we're going to flip up, go into different time frames as well. And if you're curious about the actual numerical value of each of these levels, you can look over here in the upper left hand corner and you'll see the numerical value as I go. So we're going to start off with this daily time frame. I'll stretch it out a little bit. You can see that while they are all close together, they're really not that close. It just appears that way given the scale. It looks like there's $9 between the just shy of $9 between the 10-day and the 20, and about another $6 between the 20 and the 60. So this is definitely a bullish pattern with all three indicators in order and appearing to go higher. Let's take a look at the 1 hour, see if it's also in unison here. And it is. The 1 hour. Wow, that's a good looking chart, isn't it? The 1 hour time frame, all three headed higher as well. Let's look at the 30-minute. 30-minute, all three are in line once again. Wow, you can't ask for much more. It goes higher, right? Levels off, goes higher, goes shorter, then pops higher again. Like this is a nice looking chart. And then last but not least, the 15-minute. 15-minute is still up. No, 15-minute is consolidating for a little bit. We've got the 10-minute. The 10 period is is under the 20, and both of those are higher than the 60. But with those two out of order, the 15-minute definitely appears to be consolidating, which it's done. You've seen it's done that in each of these flat periods. But overall, it does look like this is in every other time frame, we had a bullish outcome. So let's kick this back to the daily, tighten it up a little bit so you can see it. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the moving averages and go over to the MACD, which is my favorite of the momentum indicators. You certainly can use any of the others. They all react very similarly, whether you're using the RSI or stochastics or however, it gives a similar output. So you can see at the daily level, we had a nice crossover, a sell-off, a bearish crossover in February, and had a bullish one in late May, or actually beginning of, I don't know why I said May, beginning of April, and then another bullish crossover in mid-May, and that one has seemed to hold and appears to be going higher. That's certainly at the daily level. Let's take a look at the 1 hour. So in the 1 hour, we have a bullish crossover here, and then it's just sort of oscillated. Got a little bearish crossover on the 25th of May, another bullish one recently, a couple weeks ago in June. And markets moved a little bit higher, but kind of trailed off, still with momentum pushing to the upside. And I'll stretch that out so you can see it a little better. And then we had our last bullish crossover, most recent one, was on the 17th of May, which would have been last week. And it's really just been off to the races since then. I like this because it was a bullish crossover because it happened in the oversold area, and it almost immediately crossed the zero line and pushed higher. If you guys have seen these other videos, you've seen scenarios where you get a crossover and it really just sort of takes a while for it to cross the zero line. You might see that in these lower time frames. So down here, we had a bullish crossover on the 4th of June and another one, more significant one, on the 16th of June. And that one also, same as the 1 hour, really crossed over the zero line pretty quickly. I imagine the 15-minute will be very similar to this as well. So back here, the 15th, really 16th, and then it crossed over and has been just hovering in the overbought area. But this is why I don't trust these individual little crossovers here, is that without it crossing the zero line, if it continues upward in a bullish trend, it's just going to kind of go back and forth, but staying in the positive region. So that's why when I'm using the MACD, I really like to see it cross the zero line, either from positive to negative or negative to positive, before I try and use it as a trading indicator at all. So let's go back to the 1 day. I'm just going to make some observations. So obviously have some nice lines that we can put in on this chart. We're going to make a horizontal line. First off, I'm going to make one right here. And this is an interesting one because, in fact, I should turn it into another color. Interesting one because we just crossed it, but this is the last high. So Roku has just recently crossed its last high. I'm going to put a couple more. Let's do a box up here. I mean, there's an all-time high right there. You also have, let's see, I'm going to do another horizontal line here, which could end up acting as more of like a support line. Sorry for these strange colors. I'm all over the place today. But, it would have been great once you saw this line being kind of crossed, because you could see this blue line here, which is at $363.43. That was resistance back in December. It also kind of played as resistance in March, kind of topped out here in April before the prices went lower. Couldn't quite get above it in May, and then, a little bit of resistance in June, and it went ahead and crossed over it in the last few days. This is a really strong up signal for sure. I'm going to do a line there as well. In fact, instead of that, I'm going to do a rectangle there. These are interesting moves, right? You just have to be really aware of how price has responded to these regions. Let's go ahead and turn this. Different shit. Nope, that's not what I wanted. There we go. So essentially, we've just crossed this yellow line, which is 397.94. That played previous. Actually, I could even pull this a little bit lower with this line and pull it lower. Maybe there would be a little more accurate, so that it's closer to 392. But that played a little bit of support back here in January. Also was in effect in early March. Played resistance here in April. So to see this crossover is significant, and it crossed that yesterday. So the real question now is what's next, Is it going to hit this $430 or 425, 430 region? Will it end up in this box area in the 440s, or will it ultimately challenge its most recent high in the 480 region? Very interesting. So we've got those there now. What I'd like to do is toss in, we're going to stack some signals. I like to use Fibonacci Analysis. You guys have seen me use this before. Just a normal Fibonacci retracement. We go top to bottom. And I just want to see how many of these lines kind of add up. And let's see. I could easily, let's see how to do this. We're going to go see if it's easier to see in the light. Might be easier to see in the light with all of this going on. So let's see. We've got our Fibonacci level of 386.22, which is very close. Actually, we're going back dark. I'm sorry about that, you guys. This Fibonacci level of 386.22, the 23.6 level, is very close to our to this area that's been both support and resistance that I said we crossed yesterday. So those are that, at 392.77 and 386.22. I don't have to be exactly on top of each other to say that might be a significant region for us to have crossed back through. We did get as low. We touched the 50% level down here over on, it would have been May the 6th. And then we never did get to a 61.8%. So the fact that we did a 50% retracement and bounced off of that almost exactly is significant. And then we bounced once again off the 38.2% retracement. If you look at that, that also was a area of support here in mid-December, in early January. Little bounce off of that in early April, and then it bounced off of it here in June. So you start to see these levels become recurring themes, and that's why it's important to be aware of them. If I were going to take this trade, I would also be aware of where price might come back down to. And I think this 363.43 region that also has played kind of a little bit of resistance is a significant area. So, but ultimately, if I were getting long this stock, I'd be looking for it to retest this 440 region and possibly even go ahead and break out a new high. But I also would want another day above this close, right? So I look here and I see that back in March and April, we came up to this to roughly this region and then pulled back off. And now we're fighting to get through it. We really need to see this not only break through, but it needs to stay above. And that way we could start looking at what are the next price regions. So this 430, 440 region will likely come into effect if this price, if we can sustain this level, staying above that support level. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching these videos. I'm actually going to take a look at some option trades on this. I prefer, especially in the higher dollar companies, I prefer to play it with options just because I can create spread trades that allow me to effectively use my capital, not lose my capital, use my capital, rather than having, $36,000, $40,000 at play on a 100 lot. So that's it. Hope you guys are having a great day. As always, happy trading, and thanks for watching these videos. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do subscribe. I really appreciate it. All right, take care.